Following the events in Ukraine, everyone is wondering if China would attack Taiwan. The main reason for this concern is that Russia attacked Ukraine in 2014 and annexed Crimea, which was part of Ukraine. Russia has also recognized the self-proclaimed Donetsk and Luhansk People's Republics in eastern Ukraine as independent republics, and they have now begun a full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022. Despite guarantees from the US and its allies in 1994, no one stepped up to assist Ukraine. Ukraine is a sovereign nation with international recognition. China, on the other hand, has had claims on Taiwan for decades. And Taiwan, paradoxically, has comparable claims on mainland China. Despite the fact that Taiwan is only 0.37% of mainland China, or hundreds of Taiwans could fit in mainland China, Taiwan, formerly known as the Republic of China, is not a recognized country. Only 15 politically unimportant South American countries or islands, including Haiti and Guatemala, recognize Taiwan. Even the United States does not recognize Taiwan. In 1995, Taiwan's president asked for a visa to visit the United States to attend his graduate school reunion at Cornell University. A year early in 1994, the president of Taiwan's plane landed in Honolulu, Hawaii for refueling, but the US didn't grant him a visa, so he stayed on the plane the whole night. This was embarrassing for him. China insists that the rest of the world treat Taiwan as merely a province of China. The PRC, or People's Republic of China, sees Taiwan as a rebellious province of China. China rejects any diplomatic contact with countries that have opposing views. China has the world's second biggest economy and a population of more than 1.4 billion people, whereas Taiwan has a population of only 23.5 million people. The majority of the world, including the United States, publicly supports China on this issue. However, the United States is a significant unofficial ally of Taiwan. When President Lee asked for a visa to visit the US in 1995, the US Congress voted to give it to him. As a reaction, China thought that its claim on Taiwan was being undermined. So China got furious and moved a bunch of its troops to Fujian, a province merely 130 kilometers away from Taiwan. They started conducting war games, conducted a series of military exercises, live-fire exercises, and missile tests in the vicinity of Taiwan, and they put it on TV. This was a clear message to Taiwan that China could invade at any moment. This triggered a crisis in the Taiwan Strait, and at the time, Taiwan was holding its first free democratic elections, which made the Chinese furious. But guess who shows up next? The United States. The United States staged the largest demonstration of American military might in Asia since the Vietnam War. They deployed their aircraft carriers, destroyers, missiles, and powerful weapon systems. Even the United States also deployed USS Independence, the US's biggest aircraft carrier. All of this war gear was transported to the Taiwan Strait in response to China's efforts to intimidate Taiwan. This was a clear message to China to stay away from Taiwan, or I'll show you who's the boss here. After all this military flex, China got the message. And it was clear that if China didn't back off, it would mean a war with a superpower. And China couldn't afford that and backed off. The US reasserted itself as the global superpower. And China backing off meant that China tactically accepted the United States as the global superpower. Now let's travel forward in time to 2022. The thing is, it's been 26 years since this happened. A lot has changed in the world. Neither is China the same China, nor is Taiwan or the United States. This is a new world with new realities, and China is back at it again with a twist in the game. Taiwan has an air border, or an Air Defense Identification Zone, ADIZ. This area is considered the airspace of Taiwan. This means that any aircraft that enters this zone will have to identify itself before entering the zone. Otherwise, Taiwan will see it as an act of aggression and will shoot down any incoming planes. Now China doesn't respect this zone at all. In 2021, they flew 380 of these military flights across Taiwan's ADIZ, Especially in 2021 and onwards, they have dramatically increased the incursions. In 2021, they flew 961 of these military flights, purposely violating Taiwan's airspace dozens of times a day. These aircraft include bombers, fighter jets, anti-submarines, surveillance aircraft, and helicopters. But mainly, they're using fighter jets. If you look at this graph, they're constantly violating Taiwan's airspace. But in October 2021, the situation is a bit different. The highest number of violations were recorded, and this is the time when China was celebrating its founding. Right after this peak of incursions in October, the US sends in their Navy vessels to the Taiwan Strait again, this time also accompanied by Canada to push China back like the last time. But this time, it doesn't work. In fact, they increased the violations of Taiwan's airspace. This time, China gave a clear message to the world that China has changed. After all this, a question that has risen internationally is, now that China has the power, why is China not attacking Taiwan? Taiwan's position is comparable to that of Ukraine in many respects, yet it's also significantly different. Ukraine is geographically connected to Russia by land via a 2,000-kilometer border. Meanwhile, Taiwan is an island that is geographically separated from China by the Taiwan Strait, a giant body of water that is approximately 130 kilometers wide. As a result, any attempt to invade Taiwan would be more complicated and more difficult to carry out than Russia's invasion of Ukraine. To pull this off, China will require hundreds of thousands of troops, landing aircraft, and air superiority, all working in unison across the strait. The US has never indicated that it will use force or physically assist in the war against Russia in Ukraine, but Taiwan is a different issue. Unlike Ukraine, the United States will most likely come to Taiwan's defense if China invades. And the reason for this is that Taiwan has become the most important and crucial island to govern in today's globe. And it's at the heart of the escalating Cold War between the United States and China. Whoever controls Taiwan will win the 21st century. The US has sold tens of billions of dollars in military weaponry and systems to Taiwan, including advanced fighter jets and submarines. And US President Joe Biden has gone so far as to suggest that if China attacks Taiwan, he will use force to defend it. Taiwan is the most essential board piece to hold, since it's located in the geographic center of the entire First Island chain. If China were to capture control of Taiwan, it would destroy a significant US allied outpost and allow China's naval forces to ultimately penetrate the broader Pacific Ocean. This will significantly boost China's deterrent capabilities. Naturally, the United States would wish to avoid this. As a result, Taiwan is geographically important to both parties. Taiwan holds far more significance to the US than Ukraine. According to military experts, China will need around 2 million soldiers on the ground to invade Taiwan, not including additional forces. And Taiwan has an active army of 165,000 people. If reserve forces are added, the total number approaches 1.65 million, which is sufficient to fend off the Chinese until the Americans come. Most importantly, China does not need to invade Taiwan right now, because no country is talking about the recognition of Taiwan. And Taiwan is one of China's largest investors. Between 1991 and the end of May 2021, 44,577 cases worth $193.51 billion was accepted for investment in China. And Taiwan is one of China's most important trading partners. Given the circumstances, it appears doubtful that China would attack Taiwan, at least for the time being. Can the world afford Russia-style sanctions against China in the event that they invade Taiwan? China is the world's manufacturing powerhouse. All of the major technology and other firms prefer to manufacture in China. Apple and other technology companies manufacture their products in China. China's annual exports to the rest of the world were worth $2.65 trillion in the year 2020, whereas Russia's exports to the rest of the world were only $330 billion in the same year. Today, China has a big impact on the world, and the world may or may not be able to maintain sanctions against China. But it's a theory best left untested.